What's up, everybody? It's finally the frickin' weekend. Welcome back to the Poke Historian. I'm your host, Matt X. This is a show where I just turn on the camera and we talk about whatever I want to talk about: life, Pokemon cards, trains, ducks, AC units, desks, automobiles. I'm just messing with you. Basically, we just talk about whatever I feel like discussing relating to Pokemon cards. And I don't know what it was. Today I was just really reminiscing about the Sword and Shield era and like late Sun and Moon, and just thinking about how different things used to be. I remember when everything started first getting busy, when Hidden Fates came out, and there was a lot of hype around that set, and there was a lot of excitement, and of course it was tricky to find Hidden Fates in stores, but not nearly as impossible as it is now. But it all just felt so like fun and fresh and like innocent. And you really did feel like the people, at least most people trying to like get the Hidden Fates packs, they were in it for the cards, you know? They just wanted to collect them because everybody was so excited about that set. And I remember just racing around to stores with my friend and trying to get as many packs as we could when we had the money to do it. Then I remember even just like when COVID hit, you know, there was that Pikachu promo card that was in cereal boxes, and I remember seeing that in stores and be like, oh, cool, a Pokemon card in a cereal box, and collecting some of the Sword and Shield sets. I don't know. It all just felt so much more like positive back then. Like, yeah, there was a lot of demand, but it all felt like it all kind of came back to like the fans and the collectors. Like even the scalpers, like back then, like the scalpers, they were at least selling back to the collectors. Now I feel like a lot of times, like the scalpers, like they're not even selling back to the collectors. They're selling to the investors, or they're selling to another scalper who's going to try and flip something for an even higher price. But the ecosystem back then was just so much simpler because everything revolved around the collector. And now when I think about the market, it feels like 80% of the people that are involved in this shit, like, they're like investors or flippers. Like, it doesn't feel like there's as much heart in this as there used to be. And I think about like the YouTube channels as well that are popular now, and I'm just as guilty watching a lot of them just as much as you are. And they're all like investment focused. They're all focused on the graphs going up and the graphs going down, what AI is predicting to be a popular card, what kind of drama's going on between different YouTubers. And I think back to COVID, I'm like, well, during COVID, like, it was just so much more chill. Like, and even before COVID, like, right at the end of the Sun and Moon era, like, those two eras, like, COVID and, like, right before it, like, I would watch, like, Leonhardt, and he would just open some packs for fun. He would open some really cool vintage sets, and he wasn't trying to sell them to anybody or anything like that. He was just doing it for entertainment. And, of course, he made money off it because he had a lot of viewers. But it was all about, like, seeing these cool packs get opened and how neat the cards were and how like vintage they were, and it was very exciting. And then you had people like S.M. Pratt, who was just like a absolute guru of vintage Pokemon knowledge, who would put out videos every week, and I used to love watching his stuff. Rudy from Alpha Investments, you know, I was watching him back then, and he hasn't really changed much, thankfully, so that's been kind of nice. And then who else did you have? Of course, PokeRev was just getting his start. And I remember how much fun it used to be watching all his videos where he would open up these like just historical vintage boxes of Pokemon cards, and everybody would hop on and be buying packs. And thankfully, he's starting to do some of that again, of course, which I'm really excited about. And I've been watching those streams. It really is just a fun thing to watch if you truly like the cards. But I don't know. I guess what I'm getting at is I'm feeling kind of nostalgic for that era right now, and it felt so less corporate-y, so much more focused on the fans. And I think I really miss that about Pokemon cards right now. It doesn't feel like it's about the fans anymore. And of course, there are more fans than ever too, but like just the dollar signs everywhere. It just feels so like empty and hollow. And the only thing that kind of brings me like joy with it again is like when I open up like a binder. Like I was just going through my Sword and Shield binder, just looking through there again, like the memories of that time and the people I was around at that time and the things I was doing and how different my life was, even just from a work standpoint back then. And I don't know. I guess I just look back at that time and realize I had a lot of fun. And there's definitely some fun to be had like in this newer market, but I don't think I'm having as much fun now as I was back then. Even though I've got a little bit more money now and everything, it just doesn't feel quite as good. Um, Even like the early days of Scarlet and Violet kind of had its own vibe. It was just the best way to describe that era was just silence because it was so quiet. Like nobody was collecting at all. Like nobody wanted Scarlet and Violet base. Barely anybody wanted Paldea Evolved. Nobody wanted Obsidian Flames. Nobody wanted Paradox. Well, except me, anyways. I wanted Paradox, but oh my God, excuse me. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this video. I just kind of wanted to get my thoughts out there and just express them to you all because I don't know. I feel like we're missing some heart, like that heart, that passion that used to kind of light up this whole Pokemon ecosystem. I feel like it's just kind of gone cold for a lot of people, and I'm hoping maybe at some point here, if we do get a little bit of a turnaround with this market and it calms down more, maybe we can see some of the passion restored and just less focus on all this money stuff. I think what got me thinking about this too was I heard about like that Pokemon investment program those guys are putting together, like that Jarchomp guy and his buddy, and that made me kind of think too. It's like, are we really there? It's like, it just makes you think like everybody right now is just trying to find any way they can to make a profit off this hobby, and like I'm so sick of it. Why do we have to find a way to make a profit off of every single aspect of this hobby all the time? It's so freaking exhausting. To all of you, if any of you people, any of you YouTubers and everything watch this channel that are a little bit bigger, like hear me out on this. Take a freaking break and just enjoy the goddamn cards for a change, okay? It's not gonna kill you. It doesn't all have to revolve around making money. It's nice to make money off your collectibles, sure, but like things don't need to be all focused on that. And for some of you out there that are thinking about following a lot of these bigger YouTubers and following their footsteps and what have you, you don't have to be a vendor. You don't have to be a YouTuber. You don't have to be an influencer. You don't have to do any of these things that all these people are doing. Like, you can work a normal job and enjoy this hobby. And in some ways, I think that's better, and I would encourage some of you to do that, because if you can just have a normal job and keep this as your hobby, it's easier to keep your passion with it, because once it becomes like your business and like everything you do revolves around dollar signs and making money off Pokemon, I guarantee no matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, you are just not going to be as passionate and as caring about the trading card game as you would be as if you just approached it as a hobby, all right? Anyways, that's all I got to say for today. I know this video was just kind of rambly, but I had some thoughts. I wanted to put them out in a video, and that's what you just watched. Like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let me know down in the comments what you think. See you in my next video.